IRONMAN Texas athletes. Ryan Faulkner here, setthepace.triathlon.com, talking to you about IRONMAN Texas bike course and the workouts I would recommend. Now, I've done an overview of the bike course, all the ins and outs, and kind of where I think you might need to pay special attention to the bike course or anything. But specifically, I want to go over what kind of workouts you should be doing to get ready for this bike course. Now, as you can see in the video background, you've got about 1,200 feet of gain. Really, I mean, it's kind of a nice course. Coming out of T2, you got a little bit of climbing, and then it's kind of a nice downhill, then a little bit uphill, downhill, and then a little bit uphill back into transition. So really, it is not, as far as elevation change goes, it is not that bad at all. I mean, basically, you're staying on the main highway out here. As long as, now this is, this is beginning of March 2021. Race is in April. So we're going to assume that the course maps that are up on the website that I'm reviewing with you are accurate. So shouldn't change. Hopefully won't change. But we're just looking at this. So I think the big key right here is going to be two things. Is first, getting in those long rides. That is going to be key. On those long rides, you need to make sure that you are comfortable in aero position for extended periods of time. So if you're doing your training indoors, you need to spend time in aero to get used to being in aero position, because this bike ride, you're not going to be out of the seat probably much for the climbing. There might be a few little spots, maybe you get out of there and go into the drops. It looks like, when you look at the elevation, there's a few little spots where you might have to do a little bit of digging to get up a hill or something like that. But, I mean, for the most part, even when you got these slow little climbs up here, you're going to spend most of your time in the aero position. And from my experience down in Texas in 2014, there's going to be winds going one way or another. You're going to have a crosswind, you're going to have a headwind. Tailwind would be nice, but unfortunately, you don't really know where it's going to be coming out of at that time of year. It could come from anywhere. Just be ready. Being in the aero position is going to be your saving grace for saving efficiency and time and energy. So if you cannot stay in that aero position for extended periods of time, you're going to be in a tough spot, because you're going to stand up on the bars and you're just going to become a big sail blocking the wind. You're going to spend all your energy trying to overcome the drag that you're going to create by having your body up tall out of the aero bars and up on the bars, because you can't sit in that position for extended periods of time. So that's key number one. Long rides, if you're doing them indoors and if you're doing them outdoors, spend as much time as you can getting in the aero position. Make sure that aero position is comfortable for extended periods of time. Just make sure you're ready for it. If you're not, you're going to pay for it on race day, and when you get off the bike 112 miles, you're going to be sore, tired, and uncomfortable to do 26.2 miles on the run. So you want to be as economical and effective as possible out there on a bike. Now, the other one is, what kind of workouts are you going to do? Specifically, like here in Kansas City, there's not much riding to be done outdoors. If you're an early morning person working out, it's 30 degrees still here, even in March. So maybe you gung-ho and you get dressed up and you go out and you ride outside. But this is going to be the key workout. Cruise intervals, power intervals, really working that power to expand how long you can stay in kind of a zone 3 type of effort. 75% of FTP, how long can you hold it? So these sets right here is kind of the bread and butter when you're going up to 93% FTP. So you're going a little bit above that 75%, but you're trying to expand power over time. This is key. And when I'm planning my athletes and building training plans for IRONMAN Texas, first it's a 10x3 and you get 3 minutes of rest in between. Then we go up to 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. The largest one usually I have is 10. 4 sets of 10. You're out there, you're grinding it, and you do them in cycles. You build up your FTP, you build up your power, you retest, you reassess, do an FTP test, build back up, find out what your new FTP is, and then build that up to race day. So usually I have about 2 cycles in there, test your FTP, get it up, find out what it is, and then go through and do your training again. So this right here is a bread and butter workout as far as building up that strength, because you want to be in the aero position as long as possible, and you just want to find your gear, find your power, find your heart rate, and just nail it and go. I mean, this is going to be key. There's going to be a few climbs out there. You're going to want to be careful not to spike it too much. But basically, when you come out here, especially on this downhill, you don't want to go out there and just like slam it and just try to speed as much as you can. Who cares what the power output it has to be to get the speed? 75%, put it there, nail it there, save and conserve that energy, because when you get to the back half, you're going to have an uphill battle back to the finish line. Still got 26.2 miles on the run. So this workout right here is the bread and butter. You start out, like I said, doing maybe 10 sets of 3, 5 sets of 6, 4 sets of 7, 4 sets of 9, 4 sets of 10. Test, find out the new FTP. Hopefully you made some gains, and then go through the cycle again leading up to race day. And then you do some tempo work, and you reduce the load, you maintain your fitness, build in some recovery, and then you go to race day. I mean, that's the 2 keys. Make sure you're good in the aero position extended periods of time. Make sure you're working your FTP power to get that up as high as possible before race day, and make sure that you can hold that 75% as long as possible. You want to stretch out how long you can keep that muscular endurance at 75% of your FTP. So if you increase your FTP, you can increase the power, and that should help you also increase your speed overall and increase your efficiency as long as you stay in that aero position, because wind will probably be a factor. And again, you're going to be on a major thoroughfare, major road, major highway. There's no real turns in this other than U-turns, so you should be in aero position and just go. A few times you might have to pop out to do some climbs or something like that, but basically this is it. If you want a Zwift file or a fit file of this workout, just let me know. Put them in comments, send me an email, send me a message or anything like that. I'll be glad to help you out if you have any other questions, but this is what I recommend for workouts for IRONMAN Texas to get ready for the bike ride. So if you got any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy training out there, and we'll see you out on race day.